Inductee is a coach of mine, a coach of many of you, and that's Coach Art Snoey. If you had the privilege of playing for Coach Art Snoey, raise your hand. Coach Snoey coached at Edmonds High School and Edmonds Woodway High School. He was a math teacher at Edmonds and Edmonds Woodway High School for 33 years. He was head baseball coach at Edmonds High School from 1975 to 1978. Head girls basketball coach at Edmonds in 1976. Head boys basketball coach at Edmonds from 1977 to 1990. And head boys basketball coach at Edmonds Woodway High School from 1991 to 93 and 97 to 2000. He was co-head football coach at Edmonds High School for 8 seasons. Assistant baseball coach at Edmonds High School from 1971 to 75, and an assistant football coach at Edmonds High School for 13 years. Coach Snoey won 5 Wesco basketball titles: 1971, 1981, 1989, 1991, and 1998. He won 2 Wesco baseball titles, 1976 and 1978. He took 6 basketball teams to the state tournament. He took 2 Edmonds High School teams to the state baseball tournament, 1976 and 78. He coached 3 football teams to the state playoffs, 1981, 83, and 85. More than anything, Coach Snoey believed in those he coached and worked to help all his players reach their potential. And I know I speak on behalf of those who had the privilege of playing for Coach, that, you know, his teams were very well coached and always well prepared. And we always knew going into a game exactly what we were up against and what we needed to do to be successful. He was a very positive coach. He never raised his voice. It was only about us and we. There was no such thing as I or me. He made you believe, and he got us to play as a team. And as I look back at my career, and I was very fortunate to be part of a lot of successful teams with Coach Campbell and Coach Snoey. That's one of the things that sticks out in my mind is my senior year, being on a Western Conference championship team that he took from a kind of a 3-3 start to a team that won 16 games and won the conference championship and a berth into the state tournament. And it's something that I'll always cherish, and I thank you, Coach. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Coach Snoey into the Edmonds Woodway High School Athletic Department.
Thank you very much. As the other people have stated that have been up here, this is really kind of an emotional thing. When I first talked to Angie about this and stuff, I had no idea what years I'd been coaching. I had no idea how many titles we won. What we had, I didn't know any of that stuff. So I had to go back through all the old annuals that I had at home, newspaper clippings that I had stored in a file cabinet and everything. It took me a long time to get that stuff figured out, but what it did is it started to bring back all the memories, and all the memories of the kids that you've worked with, teams you've worked with, and then having some of them here tonight come up and talk and stuff. It just, and that's why those of us that have been up here tonight, that's why it gets to be a little emotional. But I did do one thing though. I was on this turf for 44 seasons. And when I first started here in 1969, we always wore jackets, shirts, ties, slacks. I went and bought this outfit just for tonight. This is just an absolutely incredible event. I walked through the side door over here earlier. I got here early. I expected to see like 10, 12 tables. And holy cow, I looked at the room and I went, you gotta be kidding. It's incredible, those of you who made the effort to come here this evening, and it's truly a privilege and an honor to be standing up here. So I thank the committee, Angie and the committee. Thank my family. We're on 2 tables over here. My wife of 48 years, she stayed with me through all this time. And I appreciate that. My wife Betsy's back there. Our children are back there. My grandkids are all here. Someone came from out of town to be here, and that meant a lot to me. When I first started here in 1969, I had 2 mentors here. I started out as the assistant football coach, and I was working for Rich Rowe. And Fred Scholl couldn't have said it any better. Fred and I'll talk about him in a minute. But it was really true. He was an absolute mentor to us. And what I would do is I would eat lunch. Most of the years I was assistant football coach, I'd eat lunch down in the locker room with him. I'd bring a sack lunch, he'd bring a sack lunch, neither one of us liked cafeteria food. So we'd sit down there and draw football plays on chalk on the floor and talk about different things. And then we'd talk about life and what it means to coach. And I remember when he was getting towards the end of his career, he'd done like 30-some years, and I asked him one time, I said, well, God, when do you know when it's time to retire? Because I plan on doing this for a long time, because I absolutely love doing this. And he said, one day you'll wake up in the morning, and you will not have the same enthusiasm to go to the field, to go to the gym, and you will know. I reached that point a few years ago, about 10 years ago. I woke up one morning and I went, I cannot do the justice to the young people that we work with. We owe it to them to give them our best. And so, but he was a great mentor for me. And then I was assistant basketball coach for Bill Medine, who was another absolutely, truly great gentleman. Both of them taught me a lot about how to prepare, what to do, but most importantly, both of them, I think the one thing they taught me, never give up on a student, never give up on a player. Sometimes you want to wring their neck, but don't ever give up on them. Someday it will all work out, and I've never forgotten that lesson from the 2 of them. I wound up doing football for 16 years. I did basketball for 27. I did baseball for 7. Quick math lesson here, because that's what I taught all those years. That's 50 sports seasons. Wow. Should have gotten them, Other people being inducted here tonight. I cross over, because of all those seasons, I cross over with so many of the people that you've seen out here tonight. I can even go back to the 49 Edmonds football team. I even know some of those people.